Welcome back, listeners. You've reached once again the Khyber Pass podcast, bringing you the voices of improvisers that have played the Khyber Pass Cafe Thursday evening music series. Tonight's guest is Adam Linz, bassist. This podcast is brought to you by the Khyber Pass Cafe, voted best Middle Eastern restaurant in the Twin Cities for 2019. We will bring you the Adam Linz interview in 2 parts. Next week will be the conclusion. This week, the beginning. Let's enjoy. I would like to welcome Adam Linz to the Khyber Pass podcast. Now, it's in the late evening, relaxed in the dark, day after your performance.
2 days after.
2 days after, thank you.
Let's get it right.
Mm-hmm. What I'd like to do with you, Adam, is talk about, first, full disclosure, you and I are friends. Off the battlefield, we're actually friends.
We hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I make you hang with me.
That's right.
Yep.
And that just, so that's just out there. It's an established notion.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not unfamiliar with one another.
Very familiar with Adam Linz. So what I'd like to know about Adam is before you were playing bass, before you were, well, what was going on? You were born down south, yeah?
No, I lived down south.
Oh, you were born in Austria.
I was actually born at Children's Hospital in St. Paul, but went back, and then my folks came back.
Oh, that's a lot there, man.
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
My mom was sick, so she was going to the U here for treatment for lupus.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up passing away when I was 4. Mm-hmm. It was just me and my dad for a while, and then that's when we started moving quite a bit when I was a kid. So I'm an only child, left-handed Taurus.
What is the Taurus part? What is that?
That's the loyalty and the, stubbornness and all that stuff.
Now that is zodiac.
It is.
Okay. Now the amount of credence that I give to the zodiac is 0.
Right.
Okay.
So, my dad remarries.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is in healthcare at this time. He's like an administrator kind of, and he's like a regional guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're moving quite a bit, sometimes multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we moved between 12 states. We moved 18 times.
Jesus.
Before, and that was a lot of places, and including like Mississippi and Florida and Texas and Tennessee and Illinois and Wisconsin. And then we finally land in Minnesota. Kind of, this one really pissed me off, was they yanked me out of school like halfway through 6th grade.
Oi.
And we moved up here, which was not easy.
That's not giving you a chance.
That's coming from Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a southern accent. I'm already like into rock and roll, hair metal, some hip hop. Before that, when we were moving around quite a bit, I was really active in like baseball, soccer, karate, BMX racing, skateboarding.
That's too many things.
It's a lot of things. I was a very busy kid. I being an only child, and my parents both work 60 hours a week kind of vibe, kind of corporate vibe. I was left to my own devices a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember being just like 6 and 7 years old and like walking home from school like by myself. It wasn't like it is now where all the kids are protected all the time and stuff. I was just this little independent dude, and you move around so much. I thought Hey Fat Ass was like my name,
Mm-hmm.
And
is that your birth name?
That's my birth name. Hey Fat Ass Laverne Linz. Yeah. And then someone was like, you should change the Hey Fat Ass to Adam.
Yeah.
And
that's just a disadvantage, man. They didn't do you a solid.
So I'm into BMX racing. I'm also kind of learning about music through a couple different places. MTV being a huge one, because we always had cable wherever we lived. because we always lived.
So you're watching early days MTV.
Yeah.
That's when it was a new thing, or what year?
83 to like 80, until I was through high school, I was still watching MTV. So getting a lot of different musical influences that way. I know about my uncle, who's this great bass player that lives in Minnesota, Tom Hubbard, who I believe you and him went to the same high school. Well, not at the same time, but you were both Cretan boys. Not that this is about you.
It's not about me.
We'll just stop that one there. So I kind of know what jazz is a little bit through other avenues, but not playing an instrument yet, just really into music. And
you have an uncle who's doing it.
Yeah.
He's a player. And you're watching MTV, and you're digging some.
Yeah, and like just being a normal kid, getting good, like trying to get good grades and make my folks happy who are working way too much and we're moving all the time. So finally we move up here, and my dad tells the company, like, that's it. We're gonna live in Minnesota. We have family there. So we buy like our first house.
And what happens with him, with his work then? They let him be stationed here, or was it okay?
Yeah. He was finally like we're gonna. My dad was with the same company for a long time, and after my mom died, they were incredibly good to us. I remember those guys, like the president of the company. This was kind of back in the day when this kind of thing happened. Like my dad was he started out as a nurse and then became an administrator, and but when my mom died, I remember the president being there and the vice president and all these guys who I knew were like really successful businessmen, and they really took, they knew that my dad was like, oh, I got this 4-year-old kid and now I'm a widower, so they really took care of him, and he was like, he wanted to get out of Milwaukee at that time, so that's when we started moving around. So fast forward, we get our house here. I have some cousins here that are really into like metal music and hip hop, and we're all kind of into the same thing, so start going to tons of shows here. But really,
so what's your age there? You're like,
we're
what?
like 11, 12.
All right.
And stopped like doing all the sports things, because then I was like really thinking I could play music, And
but still, you don't have an instrument. You're not doing it, but you're feeling it.
Yeah, I had a cousin that was a drummer, and he had a friend that was a guitar player. And since my uncle's a bass player, I was like, and back in those days, like in the metal bands and like in the hair metal bands, like they always had black guitars, but the bass player always had like a white, like kind of cream bass, and I was like, I thought like that was the only color they came. I don't know anything at this point, you know what I mean? Well,
let me just break in.
Go for it.
Because I'm not that well versed. What would hair metal be? Who would some of those bands be?
I was super into like Cinderella and but even like Iron Maiden and Motley Crue and like kind of what the older kids were into. We didn't get very many shows in Jackson, Mississippi, but I do remember my friend's brother taking me and him to see Van Halen with Rat opening up.
Is that hair music?
I guess so.
Yeah. I don't
it's
really
kind of
know.
Crossing over a little bit into guys that can really play and guys that kind of can't play, or those guys were all, I didn't know at the time, but that was all kind of influenced by like the New York Dolls and Bowie and stuff like that. But real bluesy and real kind of not metal, and then man, I move here and I get to see Maiden play and AC/DC, and I go to a Slayer show, and but also exposed to hip hop, like at the BMX track. They would play a lot of Beastie Boys and Public Enemy and early stuff, breakdancing. Like I was into breakdancing.
The Yo MTV Raps era.
Yeah, kind of before the show, but yeah, definitely when there was this crossover of hip hop and rock and roll. And just kind of was hit from all angles of music. I didn't I wasn't like, I don't like this genre of music. My dad took me to go see like the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band at the Anoka County Fair.
Yeah.
And I dug them. I was like, wow, these guys are a really good band. You know, like I was aware of ensembles.
But still not a player. All right, this is interesting. What happens, man? How does Linz get in that?
I get a little depressed up here. The kids aren't super nice. And
well, I'll tell you a thing about that is like up north here.
Yeah.
We hear a southern accent in general, and we think that person is slow mentally.
Right.
Because it's so unusual.
It was horrible. I'm like trying to talk to girls, and I'm like, hey, y'all, and like, they're having none of it.
Oh, that's so
the guys are like, you know, how many baseball cards do you have, and how well can you skate? Like how well do you play hockey? And I'm like, non-existent where I come from.
Yeah, so, you'd never even seen ice.
So this is really the thing that gets me into music and into playing bass and wanting to get an instrument. So I go up to Music Connection in Forest Lake.
Let's just back up a little bit. Okay. Before you're going up to Forest Lake to look at an instrument, what was the turning point? I mean, things up here when you were in Minnesota, socially cruddy because we don't like a southern accent. Right. That's how.
Or dirt balls. That was the word of the day.
Yeah. Well, it's Minnesota nice. Just deal with it.
Yeah, totally.
But how do you go from a kid hanging out, watching TV, you're hanging with your cousins, a lot of people play. What was the switch that went off for you?
I don't know. Like I just was like, I should get a bass and get some lessons
and so just bass was in the mind. You're just like that was.
I'll go up and get a bass, and I wanted a left-handed bass because I'm left-handed, but they didn't have any, so I bought a right-handed bass and just learned how to play right-handed.
That's so crazy.
Taking lessons at Schmidt from a very nice gentleman named Paul Kruger, who was a great guitar player in town, and had a bass. He owned a bass.
Were you going to the Schmidt Music downtown Minneapolis?
No, the Schmidt Music in Brooklyn Park, of course.
Right.
Because this is where I'm living at the time.
Okay.
And so taking some lessons with him, playing in this band with my cousin, various metal outfits in the junior high era here.
So when you're playing with these cats, where's that taking place? Where do you have a place where you can plug in and do it?
The guitar player we were in a garage at one point. We were in the basement at one point. We do a 7th Street entry show.
That's crazy.
You know, when I'm like 13 or 14.
Do you remember, was it like Battle of the Bands?
No, it was like a Tuesday night. Remember they used to have new bands on Tuesday nights down there?
Right.
You were like already in your 40s. But,
yeah.
And like,
so that's what I mean by like Battle of the Bands. I really mean new band night.
No. This is like our parents show up, and those are like the only people in the audience.
What's the name of the combo?
I don't know if we had a name.
Oh,
for
that's
that
sad,
one.
man. That's the only fun part.
I know that one was. I don't know what the name was. We did a lot of Yngwie Malmsteen covers.
Who's playing guitar on top of that?
The guitar player was super.
He could bring it.
He could bring it. So
Jesus.
So I have this high level of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, all right.
And then I'm in 9th grade, and I start playing with some older musicians from Coon Rapids that had this real proggy group, really nice, doing covers, doing Rush covers and Styx covers and that kind of stuff. And really good players and really nice guys.
And you get hooked up with them playing bass? How does that happen?
How? So when I was young, I was super fearless. I would put like bass player available ads in the city pages.
I remember seeing ads like that.
Yeah, like bassist available for looking for hard rock, metal, progressive rock, anything. Yeah. And I remember I didn't have a license, so these people would have to literally old dudes would come to my house and pick me up, which sounds a terrible statement now. Yeah. And take me places, and my parents were like okay with this, you know what I mean? Like we're loading up.
That lets you know.
We're loading up humongous amplifiers in the cars, you know.
Yeah. That's what you call the olden days, man, because it's never gonna happen like that.
That's right. And it was great, man. I was open to anything. So like I remember this one guy had like almost like a Peter Gabriel sounding kind of outfit, where he played synths and this guy played like digital drums, and I thought that was super cool because I was super into Tony Levin and Lee Sklar and David Hungate and all the session players, and then other guys would have more of like a kind of like a Creedence, Led Zeppelin, Lynyrd Skynyrd kind of groups.
So are you still taking lessons through that time?
Yeah, I'm actually probably at this moment transitioning to taking lessons at McPhail downtown, like once a week with a bass teacher, a guy named Peter Olson.
Okay.
Who was kind of more of a jazz guy.
Okay.
And I also remember being in 9th grade and seeing my uncle's band Tribute to Mingus play at the Maplewood Mall food court.
That's crazy, man.
And I remember going, wow, this is really cool. Like, I have no idea what's going on here, but this is really, really cool. And then
so that's your kind of just your first being there and jazz.
Yeah. Like,
because jazz not on MTV.
No, but
MTV is jazzy.
There was a lot of kind of crossover in this weird way. You know, I also at this time am really getting deeply into hip hop. You know, early hip hop, and so I'm buying 2 turntables and a mixer and mixing gear, and by the time I can drive, I have a truck to haul all my stuff. I have this pickup truck that Mike Lewis mentioned in his blog thing. So I'm learning how to mix music, and I'm also playing electric bass, and then slowly transitioning to like an electric upright bass.
Yeah.
Before I have a
That's
real
crazy.
upright.
So
kind of a late start to the upright for me. I probably was like almost 18 or 19 before I had a wooden bass. I had this kind of crappy stick thing. You know? But yeah, really into a lot of different music at this point. Leave the prog band. Have a hip hop group in high school called the Funk Bunnies. I'm producing everything. I'm working an internship at Metro Studios. I thought at this point I might be an audio engineer for my living, you know, kind of exploring that stuff.
So you were around 18, 19? Or what age?
I would have been 16 or 17.
Oh, so you're a high school boy.
And at this point, too, my uncle in New York, I'm starting to go out there and spend some time with him in the summer. And he's taking me around to all of these jazz clubs at nighttime around Manhattan and Brooklyn. So like all of a sudden I'm being exposed to like really amazing, intense music that I don't understand. I'm playing with older people, which is awesome. And when I'm like 16 is when I met JT.
Jesus, okay. Yeah, I got it.
And then start playing a little bit with him. And this.
How do you get with that cat, though? Is he at your school? Or?
I meet a guitar player at a Manhattan school summer camp where like I first get exposed to like learning about jazz in New York. And I'm terrible at it, you know, obviously. But I meet this guitar player there from Wilmer, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I start playing with him, and he's an all-state jazz band with JT. So all of a sudden, we're getting together in my garage, and JT's bringing his drums over to Brooklyn Park, and we're playing with this guitar player, and we're playing little gigs around. We played little coffee shops around St. Paul.
So what are you doing? Who's picking the charts and stuff? How do you know what direction you want to hit?
Like we all had a real book by that time. So I already knew what a real book was and knew that there were these tunes that kind of high school kids played, and JT would be like, oh, you know, since his brothers were older, Chris and David, you know, he was exposed to a bunch of more music because he came from a real musical family. His dad being a trumpet player and his mom being a teacher and an educator. So we're just really fumbling through like George Benson tunes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like this is kind of the time of GRP records too. Like the whole kind of crappy, not crappy, but like the whole fusion thing, where it got real commercial.
I think you can call that crafty.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, it was this perfect kind of backdoor into jazz.
Yeah.
Because it bridged kind of the prog rock stuff I was doing and the stuff I felt like I was doing with hip hop. So I'm always aware of samples and how beats are made and how things are sampled and compressed and stretching time and all that stuff. And then go to a summer camp here in Minnesota. I think I'm just turned 17. Michael Lewis is there. He's still 14.
Jesus.
About to turn 15. And I said, I should get me and Mike and JT together because I really like the way this tenor player plays. And me and JT are kind of complaining we're not really finding a horn player that we like that's our age. Some guys are a lot better than us. Some guys are, just beginning kind of thing. And
yeah.
I feel like a complete beginner all the time at this stuff at that time. And that's kind of how Fat Kids ended up happening.
Okay, so everybody, you were all just sort of together finding your way inside of traditional real book.
Yeah, I mean, just
stuff, but
we're talking playing Bud Powell tunes and standards and trying to hang with monk tunes and Mingus stuff and really falling in love with it as young players. And
see, that's so beautiful, man, because you're young cats, you're hanging out.
It's terrible. Like those guys are great, right? Like JT and Mike are already like really talented young musicians, and then Linz is like, oh, here I come, guys. I'm gonna like fumble through this because I was not talented. I really had to work for everything that I could try to do, But that was the one thing that I had was like this work ethic. And that comes from my folks, that comes from being an only child, moving around a lot, like, getting stuff done properly. Maybe that Austrian tourist thing.
Definitely the tourist part, I think, is a huge part of it.
So
because of the alignment of the stars.
It took a long time for me to kind of play catch up and feel like I knew what I was doing as a bass player in the group and what my role was. And
when you say a long time, though, what would that be like?
I mean, well past college, even.
Damn, man! But
just feeling like I could hear things really. I mean, I had to really work on ear training. I had to really work on. Mike and JT come from families that are embedded in jazz already. Both their dads are trumpet players.
Yeah.
JT's dad had a big band, that worked.
And
both his brothers played, and Mike was an only child, but his mom played piano, and his dad was a professional arranger and trumpet player, an educator. I'm coming out of like,
I dig.
I'm the dirtball kid who, became a little hip hop kid who fell in love with jazz and really wanted to try to become a professional musician, after I kind of gave up the studio thing.
And so the end of part 1. Conversation with Adam Linz. With me, your host, Paul Metzger. Brought to you, as always, by the Khyber Pass Cafe. Next week, we present the conclusion of the Adam Linz interview portrait in green. As always, I'd like to thank the Khyber Pass Cafe for supporting the podcast and the improvisation scene in the Twin Cities. of Minnesota, providing a place for the misfits, the few interested in the work that's being presented. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Good night.